Hi, it's Elle, and today I'm going to be discussing how extraterrestrials do walk among us on Earth. From what I know, extraterrestrials have the abilities to cloak themselves, so they can be among us, but they're cloaked, so we don't see their frequency vibration, whether they're cloaked through technology or it's energetically that they're able to cloak themselves just with their abilities. It could be either or. So there's those two variations of how they can walk among us. They could just be cloaked with the technology that they have available, that the cloaking shielding is integrated into their smart suits, their clothing, or it's energetic. That's the abilities they have to cloak themselves and walk among us and observe us and study us as a species. Or they can look very much humanoid. They could be ET human hybrids, specifically genetically engineered to fit in with us on Earth, to look like us, to act like us, to blend in with their environments wherever planet they're going at. So they're basically bred to look like us and be part of us and to study our society and live among us. So there's different ways that they could walk among us, or they actually live in another dimension that's concurrent to Earth and can coexist with us. There's also that aspect of it. So there's a few different variations of how they can be part of us on Earth. And this is starting to be more broadly accepted and actually discussed in universities among scientists wanting to do research studies on how extraterrestrials can exist among humans. I've actually read an article about that. So they want to make a study of it and try to scientifically document that something like that is possible. I don't know of any current methods that actually will do that. It's an interesting concept to consider and study that. Mainstream science thinks it's bunk to devote scientific study to figure out how extraterrestrials could exist among humans walking on Earth. I know from experience, having been an extraterrestrial basically living on other planets, that the human ETs who look like us can easily blend in on other planets and integrate themselves into humanoid societies. It's been done before as experiments and still continues to be done to this day, of blending in ETs with humans, because a lot of ETs are humanoid looking. So similar skin to us, maybe eyes are different, the color, the shape of the eyes, the ears. There's also the ability to do genetic manipulation and genetic surgery to actually alter the ET's physical appearance to look like us. So that's another thing that's an option, that can be done. So there's different ways of how this could happen. It could be through technology that they can cloak themselves. It could be through energetics that they naturally have the cloaking ability. It could be that they're genetically modified and to take on the appearance of us. They could be ET human hybrids, or they can also be shapeshifters. That's another ability that they have, that they can shift shape. They could do shape. They could change forms, basically. Shape shift. Sorry, I stumbled over that word. Yeah, so it could be just naturally they could change form into other beings and change their skin color, their height, mimic being human, or even change into other forms of life like animals. So there's a lot of different options here. And the shape shifting is pretty much just their abilities to do so, to organically change their body into something else or somebody else. I've seen that as well happen. So, like I said, there's many different ways of how it's possible for ETs to walk among us, and we wouldn't even notice the difference because, again, a lot of humanoid ETs look like us, and they study us beforehand before coming onto our planet. So they'll know our culture. They are taught how to integrate with human society, and they are prepared to come to Earth because that's the mission parameters that they're prepped for. So they know the drill of what to expect when they're among us. You're not going to get a praying mantis coming up to us and saying hi in the open because they look different than us. It might scare somebody. It shouldn't really, because every being that's alive is alive. So it shouldn't scare somebody, but it could shock somebody if they've never seen a mantid ET or a mantid or like even an ET mantid who's also humanoid hybrid who looks kind of human. If you have 4 arms and 4 legs and 5 eyes, it's something different that we're not used to. But it's also looking at the being's vibration that's very important. If it looks scary, it doesn't mean that it is scary. It could be a very benevolent being with beautiful energy. You psychically, intuitively look at their energy, not what they really look like. They might look very scary, but they're such a beautiful being and so benevolent. Or, they might look so beautiful and humanoid in appearance, but they're just awful. But you can sense their energy that they're awful. So you're not going to come near somebody who is projecting negative vibration. You're going to have a self-preservation reflex. You're just not going to come near somebody who's negative, no matter what they look like. So it's a polarity. Beauty and looking humanoid doesn't necessarily mean they are positive. Just exactly as the opposite of just because they look scary and different than us doesn't mean they're negative. In that way, they might be actually very positive beings with good intentions towards us. So never judge a being by its cover. Never judge a book by its cover, because appearances can be very deceiving. Not everything is as it always seems. So judging by appearance and race and belief systems, it's not really accurate. You really get to know a being by its frequency and vibration, how positive or negative it is, or in between. Sometimes there's like really neutral in between, something in between. So using your intuition in who you meet, where and when and why and how, that's really important. That's what really counts. So I do believe that ETs do walk among us and fit in quite well, especially the humanoid looking ones. They've been part of us for thousands of years and will be part of us for much more to come. So I just wanted to have this chat and to discuss that and kind of say, yeah, I believe in it, because I've been an extraterrestrial humanoid many times in my lifetimes. I've been an ET human hybrid, full ET. I've always been humanoid looking. Sometimes I've had other skin colors, like blue. And so, I've had different hair colors and stuff, eyes. I've had different abilities, but I've always been humanoid. I haven't really been anything with 4 legs or 5 eyes. I'm sure that would be interesting to experience that. But I've preferred looking humanoid for the most part. I did have a mermaid lifetime where I had a tail, while I was in the water, and then I had legs when I came on land during the Atlantis time frame. So I've had that experience, and that was interesting, and it's beautiful. Mermaids are very psychic and intuitive. So that's the most closest experience that I've had in a past life, where I had a tail, but I also had legs. So, and it would switch up. When on land, had legs. When in the water, I had a tail, and I could swim pretty well and cover long distances quickly in the water. So it's actually, mermaids do exist. They're real. Hey, I had a lifetime as one, so they're real. That's another thing that somebody had asked me a question about. How can mermaids exist? They did, and they still do, but they're in deep water now. So they're not in the open oceans like they were before. They hide and they're in deep water because they don't want to be found. So much of the ocean, the rivers, the lakes are polluted, the seas. They've retreated. So it's not easy to find them or spot them or even see them. They retreated on purpose, not to be intruded upon. It was done specifically like that because humankind is building more cities, more stuff on the water. There's a lot of boats, there's a lot of floating docks and floating homes, a lot of stuff going on the water with human activity there. So mermaids won't come near that at all. They'll retreat from that to be able to live in peace and quiet and to not be noticed, because they have to blend in and not look different or stand out from us. What we don't understand, we often catch and try to study and dissect and exploit. So why would beings want to openly show themselves that are different looking from us if we're not going to accept them or be scared of them, not understand what the heck we're looking at or what are we experiencing? So I think that's why we don't get much open visitation on the front lawn of the White House. Why ships are not landing, because not everybody's ready for that. Not everybody even believes that ETs exist. Many do, but some don't. So it's a 50-50 draw. Many of us are not ready for them, but many of us are open and ready for it. We're still a duality society. We have many different dualities and beliefs and expectations of things. So I think contact with many different ET species will happen eventually when we're ready for it. Contact already happens for us in private. Those of us that are open to it and are ready for it, it happens for us. We have our galactic families. We communicate with ETs telepathically, physically. We go on ships. They come to us in dream state, lucid dreaming, or even especially at night. Not so much during the day, but we do see a lot of UFO sightings during the day as well, but most of it happens at night. So do the sightings, because it's an optimal time to contact somebody when somebody else isn't looking in the evening. It's just optimal for that to happen, and it happens quite a bit to those of us who are energetically attuned to it and ready for it to happen. So I just wanted to discuss some of those topics and share the information. So thank you so much, and namaste.